This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the world.
Mike Jarmuz, Lightning Ventures, investing in Bitcoin companies, Miami Beach.
Beef is the culinary name for meat from cattle. In prehistoric times, humankind hunted aurochs and later domesticated them. Since that time, numerous breeds of cattle have been bred specifically for the quality or quantity of their meat. Today, beef is the third most widely consumed meat in the world, after pork and poultry. Can you imagine a life without eating beef?
No.
I married Bitcoin and divorced fiat.
True, yes.
In the 1880s, agriculturist John S. Collins was the first to successfully plant different crops, notably avocados, on the land that would later become Miami Beach. Do you know that the pine trees on today's Pine Tree Drive served as an erosion buffer for Collins' plantations?
No.
Chess is a board game between two players. It is an abstract strategy game and it follows no hidden information. It is played on a chessboard with 64 squares arranged in an 8x8 grid. Do you know that the earliest text referring to the origins of chess date from the beginning of the 7th century already?
Yes.
Investing in Bitcoin companies is the best thing someone can do to complement their hodl position.
Yes.
Cats love to sleep and do this about 70% of the day. Do you know that a 9-year-old cat has been awake for only 3 years of its life?
No.
The Nile is a theater in Mesa, Arizona, and opened in 1924. The theater has been used for many purposes, but it was built to entertain. Do you know that Mesa's first air-conditioned building blocks of ice were put in a container in the back of the building with a large fan behind the ice that distributed the cool air to vents under the theater seats?
No.
I always use conditioner when washing my hair.
No.
Is it hard to keep your emotions out of investing in Bitcoin companies?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 60 of Connect the World. We're still trying out our new format and I'm learning it on the go. This show is made possible by BL3P. Thank you guys for everything. And thank everybody with helping us out on our mission. If you want to help us even more, then follow us on Twitter, subscribe at our YouTube channel. And if you have questions for us or somebody else in our Telegram group, is the place to be. And of course, a donation is always welcome. We have the bot in the Telegram group, so you can try to use it.
Соединим этот мир.
And then, Steph, the highlight of this week, I chose tunnel sets because we have a node, our Connect the World node, and we used it with our LMBits instance for the cards, the cards that we did
cards.
with sets back. Indeed, I have one here. And it was really a great experiment. And after that experiment, we wanted, of course, to run the node in hybrid mode. And I've never done it myself. I used it or tried to use it with my own node, but never finish it. I don't know why, because I was too busy doing other stuff. But we run Raspberry Blitz on a node, and it was really super easy. Yeah. They use WireGuard VPN, and you can use tunnelsets.com is it, and there you have the guide. which just helps you out with.
I'm curious if Mike
know
knows tunnel sets, by the way.
It didn't work, by the way, Steph, earlier with Umbrel, but now it does. So that's the reason why I didn't finish it.
Okay.
Yeah, do you run a node, Mike?
I have a Start 9 embassy in my house here.
Start 9, awesome.
Yeah, tunnel sats. It's pretty cool. I think I saw this in the Bolt Fun, the last Bolt Fun thing. I might be wrong though. That's right. I think they were in there. They were in there.
Yeah, they were in there.
Idea.
That was new, and it's great because before this, Hakuna from Tunnel Sets wrote a lot about hybrid modes, and it was kind of difficult for people to try that. Because if you run a Lightning node well, that's also could be difficult at first, but then you learn on the go. And they made it easy. And it's great that they teamed up there on Bolt.fun.
Yeah.
So we made also an episode of what did we do with Tunnel Sets?
Yeah, it was an episode with Hakuna.
Oh yeah, with Hakuna. Yeah, but it was a long time ago. That was before Tunnel Sets. Yeah. No, it's really great together with Osito. So but do you run your node in on ClearNet or hybrid mode, Mike?
Unless that's on by default, no.
Okay.
I don't spend too much. I don't spend too much time in there, to be honest with you.
That doesn't matter. It's just that I saw a 14 seconds difference with not running on ClearNet. So I thought, we must do it because that means that that our node is faster and people are most likely to use our node for routing purposes. But of course, you're absolutely true. Setting it up and just using it is also great. And Tor is the way to go if you want to have it safely like that. So thanks again. Let's head over to the proper welcome.
Conectează lumea.
There he is.
Mike. Mike, I see here Muzz. Is that your sidekick name?
Nickname?
Nickname?
Yeah, it's definitely a nickname. My friends call me Muzz, so feel free to go ahead. But
Muzz, I like Muzz.
I really like that. Yeah.
And Jarmuz, is it like where you originated? Is not from the States, right? I mean, it's not like
I'm half Italian, half Polish. That's a Polish name.
Ah, okay.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, that's Jarmuz. A nice combination, Polish and Italian. Nice.
I don't know about nice, but
I mean that's why you have the long hair.
That's because I don't cut it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well,
that's an easy explanation.
Also, my hair was very long. I think
back in the days. I saw a picture of you, Edward. Oh man!
Oh no!
You should display it. No. No, but it is. Yeah, you also have very long hair, right, Edward?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was. Too long. Well, back in the day, it was great. But
it was great. and Muzz, is that because I wrote I read that you also were quite busy in the music industry, working at record companies and all, and you also started a record company or a event management company or something. Muzz, is this name Muzz? From that time period, or
no? All those things are true, though. But no, my last name is Jarmuz. So Jarmuz, it's just short. It's actually probably pronounced Jarmuz, but it's been Jarmuz my whole life, growing up in Arizona. So nickname just stuck.
Yeah, nice.
And what did you do exactly at the music industry?
Well, a bunch of things, really. Did have a record label in high school, putting out some friends' albums, and then got into booking concerts. That's everything from buying the talent to producing the shows. And that was in the southwest of the U.S. So Phoenix, Tucson, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then going on to manage a band that got a deal with a major label and did some tour managing and stuff like that. But also booked some tours as a booking agent on the other side of things, and kind of a Swiss Army knife of a lot of different things in the business. Yeah. But that was a long time ago.
And I also read something about the Nile Theater. That's why we put in also the question about this being the first building using a air conditioning. But you were one of the owners of the theater, or you just exploiting some stuff there, or?
No. Yes. On the owner side of it, we booked all the concerts that went in there,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
lived above the theater. There was a really cool apartment up there.
Great.
So the theater upstairs, it had 2 rooms. Upstairs held about 1,200, give or take. Downstairs was maybe 400. Give or take. Some raves and electronic things would use the whole building and go all night. That wasn't our thing. We just did concerts and stuff. But yeah, I lived upstairs above it, and it was a really fun time. And yeah, I still miss it.
Yeah, I looked it up,
Yeah,
and the building
that's a
itself
whole
looks
other life,
amazing,
of
man.
course.
It's built in
It's still
1924,
open.
right?
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
open, and it's a historic landmark building in Arizona, and they still do concerts. I'm not sure what they're doing now after COVID, but yeah, the Nile Theater in Mesa, Arizona. If you're from Arizona, you definitely know it.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect. Hey, and what made you switch then from the music industry? Because was there something in between music industry and your work in Bitcoin, or did you just switched from the music industry to Bitcoin?
That's the orange pilling story, right, Steph?
Maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess what was in between there was a brief bout of insanity. I put everything I owned. In storage, and I went to live on a Mississippi plantation farm called the Shack Up Inn, and I wrote a bunch of pages about living in the Mississippi Delta, and had a really good time. It was called a B&B, and it stood for Bed and Beer. And I worked there on the property. It was a really cool experience. And then I just decided from that point that I was going to move to New York. And when I moved to New York, I pretty much started over. So I did a lot of different things. None of them had to do with music, and started over. And I discovered Bitcoin then.
Okay, so then the seed was planted.
Yeah. Well, I owned a bar in Manhattan. We had the second Bitcoin ATM in Manhattan at the time, behind the bar that I think Charlie Shrem had something to do with in Midtown. So we had this homemade kind of Bitcoin ATM, pre-bit license and all those sort of things. So, was definitely involved during that older time, that first altcoin craze of 2013 and all that fun. BTCE, Bit Instant. I mean, those old exchanges, from that era.
Yeah.
It was the old man hustle, right?
That's
bar.
right. Yes, the old man hustle. It's still there. No Bitcoin ATM. But it's still
that
there.
was what I wanted to ask you. Do they still run that Bitcoin ATM? But unfortunately, no.
No, because you have to get licenses, and this person who made it at the time, this was before all of that. So I don't think they went on to really legalize their operation.
Yeah.
Hey, and we just asked, investing in Bitcoin companies is the best thing someone can do to complement HODL position. Do you also think, because there are a lot of use cases these couple of years, especially with Lightning, of course. Do you also believe it is important to not only HODL but also use your sets and keep it flowing to test out all those use cases?
Not particularly. I mean, you want to spend the bad money, right? So I want to spend the fiat. But I mean, any excuse that you get to use Bitcoin is fun, right? The Lightning beer taps, the conferences. Yeah. I mean, it's fun, right? Or adopting Bitcoin, only accepted Bitcoin. For the tickets to the conference, right? So, paying for your El Salvador visa with Bitcoin, just for fun, right? Just because you can. I mean, it's fun to use, but personally, I try to spend the bad money and I try to save the good.
You can also keep the spend and replace, or even better spent in double replay strategy, right? Then in that way you don't end up having less sets. But I get what you mean. I mean, but I think it's difficult because to have more adoption, I think it's important for us also using it to make the technology better. Not talking about on-chain transactions, obviously, but especially the Lightning Network. It's so experimental, so we have to use it a lot to keep all the errors out of it and just keep improving the protocol, right? So I get what you mean, but I think also spending is really necessary to keep evolving.
Well, it's the little things, right? Last night we had a poker game and someone owed me $40 and they said, you know what, I'll Venmo you. And I just first said, that's fine. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I'd rather take Bitcoin if you have it. And he did. So that was a Lightning transaction on the spot. So the more and more that those little things come in, right, to take a piece out of the Venmo and Cash Apps and all those kind of things, right, the better shape we're in. But I'm not running around racing to figure out ways to spend my Bitcoin to fill up my car.
No,
I'll get 4%. I'll get 4% cash back on my credit card for the oil, for the gas, and figure it out later. Right. But
it's more like we tend to find the solutions that are the same in the fiat world and then take it to the Lightning world. And I think that's good to start. But in the end, new use cases will arise, and then it's not necessary to fill up your tank with sets, I think.
Yeah,
but
look, I know you got a bunch of questions here. I don't mean to dwell on this, but until merchants really make it advantageous to pay with Bitcoin, why would anyone? Why would anyone? If I'm not saving 10% on my movie ticket, if I'm not saving 5% or 3% or incentivized or pay with Bitcoin, and you'll get, why would anyone do it? And like the adoption will come natural. It'll happen like the Strike deal with Coin Corner and these other exchanges. People are using remittance rails. Okay, they're sending remittances from Africa to the UK or whatever via Coin Corner. Okay, it's showing up in fiat. It's happening over Lightning, and the end customer doesn't even know. And I think that's going to be the way that it is kind of at the checkout counter, right? I'm going to pay with Bitcoin, and that merchant might just get dollars and be reconciled in the normal way, right? He doesn't even know that I just paid with Bitcoin. I just, tapped to pay. Instant. I think I think that we'll see that first.
Yeah. And well, if you look at the developing countries, it's completely different, of course, because then obviously Bitcoin can be someone's first ability to have digital money, right? So talking about people in South Africa, for instance, or the people in El Salvador.
To have savings.
But also want a way of paying digitally. And then Bitcoin might be the only solution or the easiest solution for them. So I think there's also a difference between developing countries and countries like the USA or Holland where we live. So because I totally agree with you. Looking at myself here in Holland, I don't have a big incentive to use Bitcoin other than the Lightning Beer Tap also, or the restaurants that we know are real Bitcoiners and you just love to pay with Bitcoin, the meetups, But other than that, there's no real use case up until now. So. But hey, one question left before I want to enter the 21 minutes with you, Mike, because I had a chess question within the 10 questions for you. But I saw on Twitter that you posted a lot of things about chess tournaments and all. But I don't know if you are a chess player yourself. So I heard you play poker now, because if I knew, I would have put in a poker question for you. But I thought, well, maybe you also play chess yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've played since I was a kid. I used to play competitively as a kid, not very good. Jack Mahler's is like really good. And
Really?
if you ever are curious, yeah, there's a United States Chess Federation website. It has rankings and there's a whole rating system. There's also a FIDE, FIDE. It's kind of an international way that players have a ranking. So you can't lie on that, right? So if you look up Jack Mahler's, or if you look up myself, right, or you look up, anyone in the Bitcoin space, it's published there. So I'm okay, but I'm not great. But I do like running the tournaments. We always have a Bitcoin prize pool to enter. Sometimes we do double elimination. I'll usually just bring a bunch of boards to a conference and we'll kind of register whatever we can do. We had 40 players at BitBlock Boom last year. That was a lot of fun. And we had probably like 20 maybe at TabConf in Austin. And, sometimes, 10,000 sats a game on a speed chess match, with a lightning invoice is a lot of fun too, I can't really get people to play for money as much as I'd like, even just 2,000 sats, 1,000, anything. I just think it's fun to settle that after. And you could do all sorts of
It's the same with poker, right? I mean, I used to play poker a lot, and now I don't have really not enough time for it. But some of my friends, they wanted to play poker just without a prize, but I mean that's no fun, right? It can be a real small prize, but there has to be an incentive to bring your A game, right?
Yeah, well, you can't really bring your A game in poker unless the money is somewhat meaningful.
Of course.
But I'm not a poker player. I don't spend a lot of time playing poker. Maybe I did somewhere back in my 20s. There's like one game that happens here in Miami that some Bitcoiners get together, and it's more so about cooking the steak and hanging out for a few hours. They end up playing. So I don't want you guys thinking I'm like some kind of poker degenerate or something. All right, I barely play. In fact, I prefer to play all of those weird little home games. You make up rules. Everyone brings $200. Nobody cares what happens. But these guys, they like to play Hold'em.
Yeah. Texas Hold'em. Hey, and did you know, because did you visit Bitcoin Amsterdam last year, or?
No, I haven't been to Amsterdam since I was on tour with a band in my early 20s. We went to a place called De Melkweg. That's where the show
a long
was.
time ago.
It was a long time ago. De Melkweg held about 600 people. I went to a coffee shop called the Bulldog. I had half of a joint, and I ended up like just sleeping for like 6 hours. It was a crazy day.
It's still there, so you can do recap on that.
Yeah, the Melkweg still exists, by the way.
And the Bulldog also.
It's a really cool place.
Yeah.
Cool
But I was asking because our sponsor Bitonic, they had a stand there, and they had a professional chess player.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Everyone was invited to play against that chess player, and when you won, you could win up to 1 Bitcoin, right? Because the price increases every hour or something. But at the end of the day, no one was able to.
You had a 10-minute time frame, I think.
You could. It was like speed chess, so you could play 10 minutes, and you have to have him check, right? Not checkmate, but check. And if you had him check, that was enough to win the Bitcoin.
I played against him, and I think it was 30 seconds or something.
Yeah. Because he could also do 5 moves or something. It was
crazy.
The rules were very crazy, but I think, you might be a good competitor then, right? Maybe next year.
Yeah, or Jack. We can bring him too.
Those are called simul's, and they usually give the money to charity or some, chess players, they don't make a lot of money. So if Gary Kasparov or somebody gets in a room, they set up all those boards and everyone pays X amount to play him, right? That's a way for a chess player to kind of make money because it's a limited earnings kind of deal. But those simul's are a lot of fun. And, if you were going to get a really good Bitcoiner, Jimmy Song's very good. I can beat Jimmy though, but I'm just saying he's not that good. All right.
Okay.
But if you get a good Bitcoiner together, you could give that money to charity. You could give it to Bitcoin development. You could do some fun with it.
Yeah, cool. Well, maybe an idea to visit Bitcoin Amsterdam this year, then Mike, and beat. I don't know what the name was of the chess player. He's, I think it was the Dutch champion, right, Edward? It was the Dutch champion.
Yeah, he was the Champion.
But also,
I
think he was also one of the best players of Europe or something like that. But okay, my knowledge about chess is way too too less to know this all. So
we can
guys,
play against each other then, Steph.
yeah, we can. I think that's better competition for us, Edward. Hey, I would really love to enter the 21 minutes, Mike. We prepared a lot of questions for you about Lightning Ventures, obviously, and about the Lightning Network, but it has to be in the 21 minutes. So if you are ready for the 21 minutes, we would like to enter that part. Are you ready, Mike?
I think I'm ready. Don't ask too hard questions, okay? Just nice and easy, okay? It's Monday.
We will try. Let's do it.
Connect the world.
Well, this is an easy one, Mike, to start. What inspired the creation of Lightning Ventures, and what's the company's mission or your mission?
Okay. The mission is to invest in the best Bitcoin startups that exist worldwide. Okay. The mission is to help founders, okay, to support these companies, to get them through the raising process, how to raise properly, add any value that you can. And one of the main differences is that we have an open group, right, that we can leverage small investors into our network. Okay. So the mission is to really take all of these people, find out their superpowers, and then see how we can help those companies. Before Lightning Ventures, I invested in some Bitcoin startups as well, but more so angel investing. And there are different groups, right? There might be the Amsterdam Tech Investors by you. There might be the, whatever, angel group, this group, that group. And people bring deals to the group evaluates them. They take everyone's money together in one transaction, make that investment. Okay, that's like an angel investing group. It's very common. Syndicate is kind of the same thing. So my goal is to run the best group of misfits and hackers and weirdos and all of these people who are all brilliant and genius and superstars in their own right, and expose them to our Bitcoin deals and what we're investing in and get them to participate. So that's kind of the mission. Side note, evangelizing early stage investing, getting people started, getting people a little bit of tools to know how to begin. Do you need a lot of money to start angel investing? You really don't. So, it's it's kind of in a shroud of, sorry about that. It's kind of in a shroud of mystery. It's in a shroud of mystery, this angel investing stuff. So giving some education out there and getting people interested is something that I'm really excited and passionate about doing.
Cool. And what sets Lightning Ventures apart from other investment platforms? You already elaborated a little, but like Wolf and Brink technology, and why is it specifically focused on, Bitcoin? Are you also focused on the Lightning Network or just in Bitcoin in general? I think that's the last thing, right?
The difference between us and the other groups is really I put the syndicate first. Okay, the syndicate to me is the most important thing to focus on. Okay, we didn't go out and raise $30 or $50 million and make investments in the ways that a lot of other VCs do. Okay, the other typical Bitcoin VCs are raising 10, 20, 50, $100 million. They charge a 2 and 20 model, a percentage on the assets managed, and that's what they do, and that's fine and all. Okay, but we are investing out of a very, very small fund, okay, that doesn't have fees. It was our first pilot fund, okay, and then focusing on the syndicate, all right, to add value, to really multiply what we can do. So that's the main difference. A lot of those other VCs, they don't do that. And Lightning Ventures is where it's going, right? So that's ultimately a big focus and emphasis is on that. But really, it's all Bitcoin startups. Okay, I mean, we haven't done anything in the mining space through Lightning Ventures. I have a few personal investments in some mining stuff, but it's everything. It's mining, it's infrastructure, it's things on Liquid. I'm very bullish on the Blockstream product, Liquid, and the sidechain, Lightning, of course, and just kind of everything going on in the space. And that's all we focus on. So there's no Web3, there's no other stuff. It's just a very narrow focus.
Perfect.
And I was thinking, if you think about decentralization, of course, with Lightning, could a project on, for example, a Noster project also be interested?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a big crossover, right? I mean, if you're on the Bitcoin Twitter world, I mean, that's really what everyone's jazzed about. And I wish I could make the conference coming up in Costa Rica, the first one there. You know, we've made a few investments in companies that are not necessarily Bitcoin first companies that have to do with a personal sovereign computing revolution, like Start9 is one of our portfolio companies, or something like Cloaked Wireless, that is a privacy focused 5G wireless network that's an alternative to some of the big players that are out there. We've made some of those. There's always a Bitcoin component in those, but really that's what we're focused on. But yeah, it could totally be considered to be something.
Okay, yeah. And can you share some of the most successful investments that made through Lightning Ventures, and what makes these companies stand out in the Lightning space nowadays?
Well, you know, what's funny about when you're a venture capitalist, and it's a true saying, is they say nobody knows you're terrible until you're on your third fund. And that's kind of where we're at with Lightning Ventures, because we have deployed out of our first fund and we're running these syndicate deal by deal basis, and we're getting people interested in investing. But it's still so early, right? After 15, 18 months, you know, nothing has gone to zero. And nothing has really exited, because there aren't too many comps as far as Bitcoin only companies that have IPO'd. There aren't any, actually, even though at one point in time Coinbase was a Bitcoin only company. But you know, there really isn't too much. So until these later names like Strike and Swan, until they have exits and really have comps and go public or whatever they decide to do, there isn't too much to really base it off of. So we don't have any like big winners right now. I mean, I love them all. You know, I love every founder. I love every company and every investment that we've invested in. But we don't have anything that's really matured at that point. So it's like, look at what we've done, or look at what we were lucky enough to invest in. It's just, it hasn't happened yet. I mean, personally,
it's just nurturing, right? Just like something that would in the end, when the time is ready, there's so much other things that are needed for that to happen, I think.
I mean, it's just like anything, you have to work at it, right? You have to water the plants and you just have to be available. I mean, so if a founder doesn't want to engage with us, or doesn't have time, or doesn't want to send updates, or shuts us out, they're welcome to do so, but we like to be helpful. We like to know what we can do, whether you're hiring for a job or whether you're looking for partnerships or whatever. So, you know, that's a good piece of advice to founders, is really leverage your investors. They've already invested. Like, there's no point in hiding from them. Like, whether things are good or bad or whatever, just keep them in the loop.
And as a CEO, so your perspective to a company related to the Lightning Network, what was the most innovative solution or startup or development you came across last year? You already told you're extremely bullish on Liquid, so that might be an option. But what was the most innovative solution?
This is a tricky question, because, you know, some things are novel and not venture investable businesses. Okay. But that shouldn't deter anyone from doing those startups. There are things that are incredibly needed and necessary all throughout the world. All of the LNbits tools. Okay. All of the LNbits tools. That's not an investable business right now. I wish we could invest in it. Okay. But that shouldn't deter anyone from building that stuff. Right? Ben has to keep his head down and keep coming out with this amazing stuff. Right. So, like, LNbits should win a 5-star award for everything that they've done to date. You know, but they're not a company that we've really invested in, because we haven't had the opportunity yet. And there's many other things that come into this, as far as incorporation type and options pool and getting your housekeeping in order. So there's a lot of ideas out there, automated node management sort of tools and things that exist. Those are not investable for me right now. Those are not things that we're investing in. But I mean, innovative. it doesn't stop with the innovation. And I'm not just talking about the exchanges or the DCA kind of apps, but I mean digital markets. Digital markets is going to be huge if you've never heard of them. They're reinventing the way that companies raise money and the way that investors raise money. It leverages liquid. It's the biggest TAM of any company I've ever seen. It's literally every asset on the planet and every person on the globe, and just is a massive idea that they're executing on. Great. What else is cool? Slice. I mean, Slice is where you take, you take Brave without the nonsense coin. Okay. And every ad that I look at in my browser, I'm getting paid for. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is a very novel way. Once you put that extension in, you never take it out, right? You're just earning sats for everything, and it still works with your pop-up browser. We invested in a company called Federated Computer. This guy started Joyent, which was acquired by like Samsung for hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, he doesn't need the money. He's an older gentleman. And this is reinventing the way that people have sort of their whole workplace sort of collaboration tools, email management, all that stuff that Google charges, $20 a month for, $12 a month per user, per whatever. It's just a different system. It's so over my head. I mean, it's 26 pages of like everything that he wrote. But sometimes you have to go with the winners, and it's going to be super innovative and super cool. I mean, I could keep going. We love them all, right? I'm just trying to give you different things. See what one thing.
And this is very interesting.
Can I say one more thing? So in the beginning, or a long time ago, or at the start, there wasn't much you could invest in. There were wallets, hardware, phone wallets, exchanges. That was kind of it. And, you take in the case of something like Crowd Health. Crowd Health is a healthcare company, but they went full Bitcoin. And that's a great company without Bitcoin, right? Now, they're not a Bitcoin company first, but they're about as Bitcoin company as you can get. And they're innovating a crowd funding healthcare solution that's way better than the traditional options. I know you guys are across the pond in Europe, so not a big deal.
We have a different system over here,
yeah. But I mean, that's like all of these things, like the ad tech plus Bitcoin, you know what I mean? Crowdfunding in Bitcoin, things like Impervious, things like Vita, communication tools. I mean, I love them all. I don't know about a most innovative, but there's just so many cool things.
All in a specific part, very innovative. So yeah, indeed, this is this is great. And when you see a company that is interesting, how do you evaluate potential investment and like an opportunity? And what criteria do you use to select companies to invest in?
This is not
super easy, of course, but
is a very hard question. This is like a whole thing in itself. I mean, I can't even possibly begin to get going on that.
What's the first thing that happens? Because you told us a little about several projects, and perhaps it's just love at first sight. You hear the story and you think, well, this is very interesting, or could potentially be very important, not to go further on it.
Well, everything is not, it's not black and white. Everything is at a different stage in a cycle. So maybe a company is raising $2 million and maybe they've already raised $1.5 million. Okay. So they've already closed some funds, the terms of that deal are set. Okay. So there's nothing really to be worked out. It's just, are you interested or are you not? Okay. Now, at the same time, this might be their first raise. Maybe they haven't raised any funds yet. Maybe then we're doing the negotiation on the terms and kind of setting that moving forward so that people come in behind us and start to invest behind us or alongside with us, right? So a lot of it depends on the stage of the company. Maybe they're not incorporated and then we can't do anything at all, right? Maybe we can help get them to that point to where they are investable, okay? But there's a lot of different things. Everyone's in a different place, like when you go to see a doctor, not everyone has the same thing. All right. There's a lot of different stuff going on. So as far as like, what do you look for? I mean, this is such a big part. Okay. You have the founders. Do they have a history? Have they ever had successful exits?
Yeah.
Is one founder better than two? Is two better than three? Is three too many? If there's going to be two founders, is one technical and is one a marketing kind of salesperson? That's the best combination, right? If it's one solo founder, a lot of people say he must be technical, right? I'll never invest in a solo founder that's not technical, okay? Or maybe they need to go out and find another person to be on their team, right? But that's just the founder, okay? And then it's what have they built yet? Is their product market fit? You know, founder market fit? How big is the TAM? What is the total addressable market of the space that they're going into? How much money are they burning right now? What's the cash situation? After this big fundraise, what's the use of funds? What are you doing with that money? What are you going to put it to work doing? How much runway does it buy you after this raise is completed? How far does that get? You know, what are the metrics you're looking at? What are the milestones that you want to hit? If you raise this 500,000 euros now, okay, what do you want to do with it? What do you hope to get? Oh, you want 5,000 people signed up and a platform live and some sort of private beta? Okay, that's a great milestone, you know? And then once you hit that milestone, you can reevaluate and you can go out and raise more money. Some founders put the cart before the horse. They've done nothing and they want to raise $2 million on an idea. Some companies, my favorite ones and often the most successful, do the most work without raising any money. They have a live product, they have this thing going, and then they go out and try and raise money, and that's how you do it.
That's perfect order. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest group within the Lightning space, I can imagine, because a lot of the companies that were built within Bitcoin, but especially the Lightning Network, must be from founders who are really into the technology, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense for a guy without the knowledge of the network to start a company in it, or am I mistaken?
Most founders are technical that I've found in the Bitcoin space. Not all, okay, without naming names, but those non-technical founders that come up with a really good idea, the best course of action is to go out and get a technical co-founder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they might have the idea, they might have some limited technical chops. Okay. They might start trying to manage a remote dev team all across the world and, think I can't manage all these people building God knows what. And then find a co-founder. Right.
Yeah.
But yes, in the Bitcoin space, a lot of people are technical.
Yeah, and we saw also a scouting program offered by Lightning Ventures. What is the goal of that scouting program, and how does it support early stage projects and startups in the Lightning Network ecosystem?
Well, a scout program is fun, and that's nothing new. That's existed in venture capital for a long, long time. And basically the premise, and it works, by the way, in the music business too. You have A&R, you have scouts that go out there and before the internet, you would go to shows, you would fight, and you would bring things in, and you need people with eyeballs everywhere. So you try to compensate them. If somebody wanted to break into Bitcoin VC and they sent us and connected us with a couple of founders and that turned into deals, well, first off, we'd be able to share a percentage of that deal with the person who sent them to us. That's the first thing that we can do, and we love sharing. So that's the first thing. And then after that happens a number of times, maybe they become a venture partner. Maybe they get some visibility. Maybe they get a better feel for it. They're going to learn a bunch along the way. So I really want to push that scout program to anyone that's out there talking to companies, right? Like even you guys. You guys are interviewing people and talking to companies all day long. And when you come across a founder who's raising capital, one email to us saying, Mike, or talk to this guy, here, connect you. And if we run that deal, or if we invest in that company, you guys will get a percentage of that. And that costs zero to you guys. And it can be very, very meaningful depending on the outcome of that company. So it's kind of just a fun thing.
Yeah, I'm taking notes. Yeah, no. But that's absolutely right. Because then, like us, we're talking to a lot of businesses, and we hear all those stories, and different CEOs are on a different place on the roadmap, right? So the one is looking, another one is trying to have a remote team, So and expanding questions, of course. So yeah, we hear a lot about those topics. Interesting.
And those things take a long time to mature, but when they do, it can be very, very meaningful. So I know that, when you have sponsors and you need income, this might not solve that problem with your amazing sponsors. However, down the line, when something happens with these companies in X amount of years, it's gonna pay a very good dividend then.
Yeah. And it's great.
Or it goes to zero, or they go out of business,
of
and
course,
it's nothing.
that's also possible. Yeah.
It's worth a try.
Yeah, and it's interesting to grow with all those companies and to see them evaluate. So, and what's the current size of your team, and are there plans to expand in the future?
Yeah, there's a few people helping behind the scenes on the team. And really, it's just been cold outreach. People who sent us emails, we ended up working with them. We don't have a budget. We don't have any money right now. Okay. So these other funds, they charge like fees, so they can sponsor the meetups and whatever and hackathons. And when we buy the pizza at the meetup, it like just goes on my credit card. So that's got to stop. But we're gonna figure out a way to get some money in the door so that we can do some more stuff.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I have just one question that's popping up in my mind also because investing in the Lightning Network can come with risks, obviously. And with more adoption of Lightning, it seems that more non-custodial services will be inevitable. Do you see this also as a risk or trade-off? Or
that clock is ticking.
Yeah. The risk can answer it. No problem.
The risk is not the market. Bitcoin is going to succeed. The risk is in the founder and the teams to execute, and it's always there.
Okay.
That's also advice to...
Good answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one more for you, Edward.
Yeah. Can you share your thoughts on the current state of regulation and legislation surrounding the Lightning Network, and how do you see this evolving in the near future?
Scared to death about the regulation, but I don't know if they can stop it. It's going to be a heck of a fight if they try to. I mean, KYC and limiting people for phone wallets. I know that Europe over there with you in 2025 has got a whole lot of changes. I was talking to Julian from Relay about a lot of the stuff coming down the line, and it's more scary. It's scarier outside of the U.S. For over there, right? But I don't really think they can stop it. I don't think they can stop it. I mean, what we need is an independent app. We need an independent app store without these like walled garden gatekeepers. I mean, if we had that, that's what somebody should be out there building. It's just is that.
We're going to take a snippet of this.
It's a great advertisement, yes.
No, but I think you're right. I see it also on Nostr. There are a lot of ideas popping up. Can we do this? Can we figure out a replacement for GitHub? There are so many things to change, but an app store, independent, that will change a lot, yeah. So, well, perhaps the developers out there, technical person or someone, let's hope it works. We had a lot of other questions, Mike, but we didn't have the time to ask them. Maybe another time would be great to have you back on the show.
All right. Well, I'd love to join
этот мир.
That's the jingle.
Yeah, that was our Russian friend.
We still have one question left for you, Mike. And the fun part is you may choose yourself, because we recorded a couple of questions from one of our previous guests, and Edward will tell you exactly from which person you can choose from.
You can choose between three. Let's have a look. The first one is Bastien Tenturier from A5. The second one is Jesse de Wit. He's a Lightning developer at Breeze Technology. And the third one, I think you know him, is Adam Bilichan from Relay.app. Which one?
Oh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one because we got 2 portfolio companies in there, right? I want to hear the question. I love Breeze. I love Roy so much. Roy is a really good personal friend of mine. So anyone that works for Breeze, but I'm afraid that's going to be way too technical of a question. That's the problem.
You never know.
What is the person from Relay? What is his job title?
Adam Bilichan is co-founder, right?
Yeah.
Steph?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
So
we did
was
an
that question
episode with
was that question specifically for me, or was that just a question
No,
in general?
it's
a general.
general questions.
Yeah.
So I think you will do fine. It's
All right, let's pick that one.
okay. Cool.
Okay.
Let's do it.
There it comes.
Hi, my name is Adam, and here is my question regarding Lightning. So, as we know, this year we have more and more LSPs being launched, and I was wondering to you, what do you think would be the main differentiator between all these different LSPs when one would need to pick from these LSPs? Thanks.
Good Lord.
Come on, Maz. Oh.
You know, Breeze is leading in the LSP space, you know?
Yeah.
That's
whole
what they're
ecosystem.
doing. So
Well, perhaps do you think if Breeze succeeds and Breeze is the infrastructure, the API that other people can use, and there are some other LSPs, what would be the difference then? Because never have one horse, right? It's better to have more flavors.
But I mean, what's another LSP? Like, are you talking about like Fountain with podcasting? Are you talking about like very specific? I don't even know who's really competing with Breeze in that LSP space. So, I mean, they're really the only ones that I know.
Right? Because
they're the only ones I know that are rolling it out. It is their main focus.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's right.
There's probably others I don't know of, but I just didn't know if you meant like, you know, Wave Lake with music or Fountain with podcasting, or kind of like what else? You know, what else? So I mean, I should have picked the Breeze question, man. It would probably be a softball.
And then the Breeze question will be for another guest that is very happy, perhaps, or not. We don't know, but I think it's great. You're saying, well, the LSP Breeze will have that ecosystem, and then perhaps it's not necessary. Well, and I also think now there's no real competition, perhaps, and that's a good thing. So let's leave it at that. But nice try.
Соединим этот мир.
Muz, thanks for your time, man. It was a really interesting talk. And what I like most is that we have a lot of technical guests, and we also have a lot of guests running communities like Herman Vivier for Bitcoin Ekasi, but also Bitcoin Lago and all. And Patrick. This is like the first time we have something at the complete opposite of that that space, right? So really interesting to talk to you. And we will follow all the work you do, and maybe we can invite you back into one of our future episodes. That will be nice.
Yeah, thanks.
There's
again,
a lot
Mike.
of things. Yeah, I'm a pleasure hanging with both of you. And I mean, there's a lot of things that we can hopefully get together on. There's ways to work with our portfolio companies. There's ways to have partnerships and roll out affiliate programs. And maybe I can even get you guys in our Lightning Ventures fold to where you have these great warm intros for networking and everything that you're building over there at Connect the World. And, you know, it's also great for our founders too, right? Somebody's rolling out an affiliate program and they want signups, and they are working with you, right? Because you're looking for all kinds of different avenues and things that you can do. So, I mean, there's a lot we could get together on. Like, I like I would love to have you guys in our group. So maybe I can send you a
awesome.
custom invite.
Well, we're open to that. Yeah, it would be really great. Pleasure's all ours. And I think thanks from everyone that you have those accelerator programs and help people to get further on their project. So I think that's very important to have all those people that we can speak to. So thanks again.
Thanks.
And thanks for listening. Thanks to all members participating in our Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And thanks, of course, for helping out to complete our mission, Connect the World. So please support us. Go to our website, connecttheworld.live. There you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, Connect the World. So keep those nodes running and sats flowing and rings burning. And see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Arrivederci, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Ciao.